All right, the relentless game, turning chaos into power. So today, we were talking about, we have a client inside of the Vitality Mill, and the other day I was sitting in my office, and it was a Friday afternoon, and client comes in, and he has an opportunity right now, and this opportunity is with the 8 months that Trump's basically giving anybody, government workers. He's basically giving them like 8 months you'll get paid, and then on top of that you'll still get your benefits and things like that. And so this client has worked with me inside the Grow Alliance in the past, and inside the Vitality Mill, and he's always wanted to get out of and have like do more. He feels like God's calling him to do more, and he feels like he's just kind of stuck where he's at because basically the government's told him that, like, unless you move, and this guy's has a high level job, and he's like, unless you move to another state, you're not going to get any kind of promotion.
They just put a ceiling on how far he could go.
And he's just focused on like that ceiling. And I'm like, okay, well, I can't grow here. It can't happen. Now he comes in, he sits in, and he's like, can I talk to you? And it's like, yeah. He comes in and has a discussion with me. And that discussion, we start to, in that moment, I was just kind of asking him questions. And that's what coaching is.
Yep.
Is it's like questions are steering wheel of the mind, and the more questions you ask, the more the individual can figure out the direction they need to go themselves. But at that point, though, it was something that I felt like with that individual, Shane, he's a man of God, and then with me sitting there, I'm a man of God. And the next thing you know, you get two of us together, and I start to question him and give him different insights and give him asking him questions and showing him differently. I do believe that God was like speaking through me, because it wasn't me. It was like a long day, and I was kind of tired and wore out. And he said something he's like, we were both sitting there, and I was like, you got to make the decision by Thursday. And he's like, yeah, I got to make it by Thursday. But he's like, I have to go out of town. This was on a Friday. He's like, I have to go out of town, that I leave Monday to go teach this class. And, I really need that time to be thinking about what I want to do. And I just said to him, I was like, man, where truth is, God is, and where God is, transformation is. And I was like, if you're not honest with your supervisor and let them know that you're thinking about doing this, I was like, and you wait until Sunday to let them know or whatever, it's like, that's not a good look.
Yeah.
What could happen is like, you need to take action on that now. And he, all of a sudden, I watched him, he starts pulling his phone out. He pulls his phone out, and he's like, can I sit here for a second? I'm like, yeah. Calls the supervisor right then, lets him know what he's thinking. And then he doesn't end up going on the trip. I walk out. I walk in the room, in the other room, and Isaac and Ryan are in there. And I thought it was cool that how fast Shane was taking action.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, man, that dude's in there taking action on that right now. And next thing you know, Shane comes back in the room, and I just told Ryan and Isaac what had happened. Shane walks back in the room, and he says, man, I just wish, he tells them what he's doing. He's like, man, I just wish God just had like a big old sign that it was like, here it is. And I was like, man, it don't always work like that. But I had mentioned it, and when I had mentioned it, Ryan, who owns a construction company, was already looking for a project manager. And then immediately he's like, hey, Shane, going to be looking to hire a project manager here in the next month or so. And Shane's eyes just like, are you serious, man? There's no way. Are you serious? And I bring that up, and we talk about it. Is just like the opportunity, him just going and taking that action. And here's the biggest, this is what we'll kind of talk about and go from there, is it's like faith requires action. And a lot of guys will have all kinds of faith. And this is why I do what I do. I see a lot of men that have the faith, but they don't take any action with the faith. And the reason why they don't take the action is the things that they're doing behind closed doors, possibly, that's eating away at their confidence, their certainty. It's causing them to feel shame. It's causing them to feel guilt, doubt, worry, unworthiness, because they're making decisions, whether that's whether that's overeating, whether that's drinking, whether that's porn, whether that's anything that you do and you get done experiencing it and doing it, and you feel this like shame or guilt, that's a good sign that that's a version of you that you need to kill off.
Yeah.
And you need to kill that version off. And so it was just cool to see and see it happen so quick when he took the action, and then he and with faith took the action, and then it just happened like that. Unexplainable, can't explain it. Just the way God works as far as that stuff.
Well, I think it was not only that, he's worked with you in the GA.
Mm-hmm.
So like he came to you comfortable to ask, he felt good with the guidance that you could give him, and the brotherhood that you guys had together is what gave him the confidence to take that actionable step. Because a lot of times whenever we're just in it on our own, we don't have the confidence to take that action. But whenever you've got other guys that you trust and that you've kind of can feed off that energy, like he saw the energy you were giving him, and like you said, I mean, God was kind of putting those words into you. He saw that and he felt that energy, and he's like, dude, like, man, and that energy just spread it to him, and he's like, man, I'm just going to take action. And then God did. I mean, God worked immediately.
Yeah. And that he texts me. That was 2 weeks ago Friday. 2 weeks ago Friday, and then last Friday he texts me and says, "Hey, got the job with Ryan, and now we're moving forward." And so that's why I texted him back. I was like, "Man, amazing what happens when you match action with faith. What can happen as far as that?" You said something though. Oftentimes, guys, we stay in our own box, right? We don't ego, call it what you want to call it, is we stay kind of stuck with our own understanding, our own thinking, and we never leap and never take the action maybe that we need to, because we don't have different perspectives from other individuals that can kind of see something maybe that you can't.
Yeah.
And ultimately, having that brotherhood and having someone that you know has your best interest, but that wants you to win as well, and having that, it allows you to be able to kind of just, like you said, kind of get that confidence that maybe you don't see. Because that's what I was telling Shane. It's like, what's the worst thing that happens, man? You got 8 months to make something happen.
Yep.
I know me personally, when I opened and when I started inside of with Fitness Together, my back was against the wall. Like there was just like, people were like, how'd you get your first business? How'd that start? And it's like, well, it started because my back was against the wall. I didn't really have any options. I was like kind of like in this place where it's like I got in trouble in college, and I got out of college, and it was one of those things where it's like, here I am, I got an opportunity. I went all in on this opportunity. And then the next thing you know, by me taking action and leaving the town I was in, taking action, and then it was presented to me having this opportunity to buy the Fitness Together at the time. And it just opened up a whole new avenue for me, an arena for me, where I was like, see things totally different. But that was, even with that was someone who trusted, that believed in me to get that, because that's the only reason I was able to buy the Fitness Together, was a guy named Kenny I worked with one-on-one and trained him. And then he was like, how much would it cost you to buy this place? And then he put the money in the bank account, and I just took a loan off of that. And so but again, if I didn't take that action, if I didn't take action and move out of the town that I was in, where I had my girlfriend at the time, if I didn't like take that action and go, hey, I'm going to move to the city, and I'm going to take this leap of faith and do this, then there would have been that I would still have been sitting there waiting tables and doing the things I did, and wouldn't have had that opportunity to come here. Yeah. Same thing with you. Like when you reached out to me, it's like, you reached out to me in Instagram message and was like, hey, you don't need to look anymore. I got your coach. I'm your coach. I'm the guy. And I'm like, well, that's ballsy for that dude to like hit me up like that and just know that he's the dude. And so I'm like, hey, let's meet up and let's chat. And then from here, it's like, it's opened up to where we are, and more opportunities and more growth that we don't even understand, because now we have this understanding that it's like, hey, it takes more than one person to do this.
Yeah.
And like, and I know that I can't do it without you. You can't do it without me. And it's like, hey, well, might as well go and let's do it together.
Together.
As far as
yeah.
That, so.
And what that is I had that urge over and over again. And I didn't at first take action on it, because I don't know what this pull is. And, I'm comfortable where I'm at. And but I just kept feeling that urge. And then
Yeah, 'cause you were young and making money already.
yeah, I was in a, yeah, I mean,
You're cutting hair.
cutting hair. Yeah. Had plenty of clients. I mean, it was taking care of me and my family, and yeah, everything was good, but I just kept having that urge, and it was just taking that leap of faith to do that. And God puts that on your heart and he makes it clear. And whenever you don't fight that feeling, like when you feel that feeling, he puts it on your heart for a reason. And you know, whenever it's the Lord too, and you pray about it, talk to him about it. And that's what that was. And what I was going to talk to you too about Shane is he, he felt that urge too, to go take that same exact action that he felt through you, and just how God quickly can change things in your life. But it's a lot of the reason that guys are stuck is because they don't talk to anybody about their feelings. They're just, and like you said, it could be an ego thing. But with Shane, if he never felt like, oh, I'm going to talk to Seth about this, he'd probably still be thinking about switching jobs or still be thinking about, but just from him expressing how he felt towards you, you were able to give him some outlook that God actually spoke through you into him. And with that, that's what put him in the position that he's in. But with guys that are in the pit and in a deep hole that are struggling with, porn addiction, struggling with gambling, struggling with a bad relationship with food, when guys are scared, a lot of it is what that is they're scared to tell somebody what they're struggling with. That's what keeps them stuck, because they haven't told it to anybody else. There's no accountability. And so you're going to,
because they feel like they're on an island though.
Yeah.
They don't feel like if you don't, especially with like Christian men, if you don't ever say like, this is what I'm struggling with, and no one talks about it, then there's not any, like, you just think that like Christian has it figured out. I don't have it figured out. I don't know what to do. I struggle with this. I struggle with this. I struggle with this. He don't struggle with that.
You feel
and so there's you feel alone. You feel out on this island. And so that it makes it where you're not going to reach out. And you're especially not going to reach out and say something in a small group at church or at church or something like that. It's just not going to happen, because unfortunately there's a lot of judgment that could potentially come from it, or that's the story you're telling yourself. And that's what the Guerrilla Alliance, like, that's what we do is like, we put a lot of, it's just the same thing with our pastor says, like, put a lot of imperfect individuals in one place, and just understand we don't all have it figured out. But like, there's something that you've went through that I haven't went through, or I've went through that you haven't went through, or someone that David went through that you didn't go through, and like that he can see it differently and he can lean on, and you can go, hey, what would you do here? And now we start to have like this kind of this bounce back where it's like, okay, how would this work? What would that look like? And now you can start to see like, I'm not alone. I'm not the only one that struggles, and go from there. And it's the same thing with the, with the Bible study last year. Yeah. I'd said, hey, I would like to have an online Bible study. And I bring this up because we're going to have the Relentless Faith online Bible study for men starting here pretty quick. But that started with me not knowing where to start, but knowing I wanted to do that. And I went to the Bible study at our church with its men's Bible study. I went to it, and then I went to it. And then by me going to that, I went a whole month. And then Isaac, our coach here at the Vitality Mill, says like, hey, I used to be a part of a gym in California, and they used to do a workout and then Bible study before the workout. I'd like to do that here. That bridged the gap for me to figure out, okay, now I've gone through a Bible study. I see the frameworks. I see how it works. Now he starts to bring that. Now we bring it here. And then on the other side of that, now the online Bible study will kick off, and it'll be here in the next month or so. And it was the same kind of thing. It's like, have this feeling and this call of doing this. And it's like, I don't know how, what am I going to do? And then just take it. But you see that in the Bible over and over again, of individuals like Moses. It was like, how I'm not the guy. How can I be the guy? What are you talking about? And it's like, okay, well, if you're not the guy, someone else is going to be the guy. And it's like, we got to get out of our way of thinking that like these individuals that are in the Bible are any different than us, because all they are individual, are people. That's it. That was it. Like,
they were struggling with stuff just like we are.
Yeah. And they take the individuals that were the most messed up. When you look at Saul to Paul, make the individuals that are the most messed up, and he uses those because that mess is your message, and then you can take that and be able to help others later on as far as that stuff goes. So
Yeah, that's huge. I think with a lot of guys that feel like, man, I'm lost, like I'm too down bad to ever turn things around, and I don't think I don't amount to anything. But those guys make the most impactful stories and almost become the most successful guys because it's relatable.
Mm-hmm.
You're not alone. There's guys that are struggling with things just like you are, if not worse. And so, but you coming, rising above those things, you're able to give that testimony, and then it starts to make other people feel comfortable. Like, okay, I can talk to this dude. I can open up to this dude. And it allows you to change people's lives.
Well, that's the foundation, is like where anybody that works inside the Guerrilla Alliance, we all know from the get-go, we live by a code. And that code is first, hey, here's the facts of the situation that I'm dealing with. Now, once I get to the facts of like with the stuff that I'm dealing with, now I can look at my feelings and see how I feel about that. And the feelings is the directional piece that you'll know by your feelings that like, I don't like the results that I have here with the facts. Then how does that make you feel? If that feeling's negative, then that's something that needs to change. Or if it's positive, that's something you need to continue with. And then we can put our focus on the relevant focus of where we need to go. And now once we have that relevant focus that's in line with who we want to become, then we can get the fruit, okay, the results to start to build from there and go from there. So but it all starts with foundationally, like, hey, I'm not going to lie to you. You don't lie to me. Now we can start to build from there. But if we don't have that foundation of just like, hey, I'm going to be honest and tell the truth, then you lie to yourself, you lie to others, then you can't expect for God to come in and try to fix it and try to help. The same thing with Shane. If Shane would have came in and been like, and lying to me about whatever and been like, oh, whatever it would have been, like there was never been that meetup that where he could have been like, hey, this is the direction you might need to take and go from there. So you just never know. That's what we do inside the Guerrilla Alliance. Is just more than anything taking guys that are that they're believers, but they don't have a brotherhood necessarily. They can speak what's going on with them. They're lacking discipline. They're lacking clarity. They're lacking a mission. And once we start to get all this in line, where we start to have some clarity on what we actually want, we can create a mission out of that. But then we can start to build some discipline around our workouts, our habits, our nutrition. Now we start to have something where we can start to build upon that. And then we can start to actually start getting some clarity on creating the life that you want in every area of life, and your body balance, being in business, and go from there. So you have anything else?
Yeah, I think the coolest thing about the GA is just the blueprint that we've created to make it easier for these guys to, hey, like, we get where you are right here. We can, show you the way, bouncing off of each other's ideas, and then just basically just giving you a clear plan how to level up each part of your life, like whether it be weight training, like I handle the weight training side of it. You're leaning on somebody that's got a better understanding and has been there and has the knowledge for it. And then we're just putting all of our brains together, and we learn stuff from the GA guys all the time because they're in different businesses, and we just feed off each other, and we're just growing together.
Well, that, and that's the thing is if you're the smartest guy in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Exactly.
So I'm not by any means like I created it, but
you've got your unique ability. But I've got mine.
Yeah, exactly. I created it because I just needed something. Like I need to have myself a group of guys that were pushing and that were a little bit nutty and crazy like me, that just don't want to settle and just don't want to be like good in one or two areas, but want to be great in all areas. And I want to have it all. And that's what God ultimately, he gave us dominion over every area of our lives. And he wants us to win, but he also wants us to be able to live in abundance and show others what's possible when you allow him to do the work inside of him. Because like you said, you've got skill sets that I may not have. And then I have mindsets that maybe you don't have. And like we can start to build these skill sets and use them and use the mindset and the way we look at things and start to help each other out. Then it starts to build something bigger and better than we could ever imagine as far as that goes. So that's what we do inside the Guerrilla Alliance. Always looking for new guys to jump in. That starts with the Gain 180. The Gain 180 is just a pivot. It's just like, hey, I'm going this direction and I know that I need to do something. I need to change something. But at the same time, I know that I'm not headed in the direction I necessarily want to. Some of those guys that may be in they're overweight, not feeling it. Maybe they're sedating or whatever it may be, that direction, or they don't have a relationship with God or whatever it may be. And then we start to take it and we just make a pivot. start going in the opposite direction, start putting some frameworks into play that's proven, and then we can start to build from there. That game to 180 goes to the focus game. That focus game goes to the life game. That life game goes to the freedom game. And now we start to build out, and now we can create a life with love. But we don't give it to you all at once because that'd be like a fire hose to the face, and you wouldn't take it all in. So we just get you primed and ready to rock, and then get some clarity, and then start to build a little small, go from there. So would love to have you. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook at Seth P. Humphrey. Christian, go ahead and give your...
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at bootrains, BOOTRAINZ.
So those are a couple different ways. Also, you can email me at seth@thegorillaalliance.com and point you in the right direction there. So more than anything, appreciate you listening, and we'll see you on the other side.